Thank you so much. Thank you for that clap, sir. Means a lot. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The little girl in me is overjoyed, is overwhelmed, is crying because one of my dreams was always to represent India at an International Beauty Pageant 1, which is coming true very soon. And the other was to be on a TEDx talk. So I'm very, very happy and very, very proud and very, very grateful. Let me start off with a story. A friend of mine gifted me a necklace. The necklace had 3 moons in it. I don't know why the number 3, but it had 3 moons. And he asked me, Tanvi, why do you think moon is the most beautiful thing ever? And I said the most obvious answer because it's moon, hello. But he said, moon is the most beautiful, not because it's white or it's shiny, but because when people look at that moon, they find themselves feeling beautiful. And I was like, are you calling me a moon? I'm eternally grateful. And he said, no, moon and you do have similarities, but moon also has dark spots, in your case flaws, and both of you are not ashamed or embarrassed to show it to the world. What he meant was, in this entire lockdown period, when everybody was turning into a baker, I could not bake one cake also. I've burnt at least 100 cakes. And I swear to God, I'm not going to give up. Thanks to all the speakers, they have told me to not give up. Consistency is the key to success. But while I do feel the most beautiful, like very, very beautiful when I'm wearing that glittery gown, when I'm in these heels, in that crown, I swear to God, I think I feel the most beautiful when I make people feel beautiful. And I think they are the most beautiful when they smile, when they laugh, when they giggle. So I found my purpose really, really, really early on in life, which was to talk in a way that people smile, stand in a way that people smile, walk in a way that people smile, exist in a way that people smile. Of course, not being a people pleaser, but just being a happy, positive energy everywhere. Let's go back, shall we? Yes? Thank you. I grew up in a very small town. It's called Jalgaon in Maharashtra. It's a small town, but a very intelligent, very talented town, also coupled with hardworking people. I am a middle child to 3 siblings. My elder sister is a speech therapist. My younger brother is a dancer, TV star. My mom is a folk literature. She's done PhD in folk literature. And my dad is an artist. So you can imagine my house is a madhouse. Every day I used to wake up listening to radio. My mom used to listen to radio, cook breakfast, and making sure that we drank that 1 glass of milk. I really want to ask this question to every mother out here. What is your obsession with milk? What will happen if we don't drink milk? We will be fine as it is. But she made sure that we drank that 1 glass of milk, while on the other hand, my dad would be like, no, she just needs to learn time management. She just needs to go to school 10 minutes prior to the school timing. And he's been failing miserably still. I also grew up in a family where beauty as a concept was never sought out after. When I say beauty, I mean in a physical aspect. My mom never told me, you should eat this to have healthy skin. You should do this to have healthy body. She never did that. What my parents did instead was, they were focused, were very, very determined into making us an all-rounder kid. Now, this term, an all-rounder, was very in when I was in my school. So that meant I had to go to every class possible. So I have learned how to type on a typewriter. They don't even produce typewriters anymore. Like, I had to learn typewriting. I had to go to swim lessons, dance lessons, theater lessons, everything. You name it, and I was there. But they did do one thing for me. My parents, they pushed me out of my comfort zone. They told me that when you go on stage, you better make everybody laugh, smile, and you make them forget their worries and whatever. So from the very young age, I decided that I want to be here. I want to be on stage every time. This all changed when I went to a boarding school. Have you seen Tare Zameen Par with the show of hands? Yes? I'm sure everyone must have watched it. You must have seen how the actor becomes very sad and very, very traumatized when he goes, but he changes, right? In real life, when people go to boarding school, they lose weight, they become very pale. I was not one of those kids. I was a very happy kid. I put on 15 kgs there very happily, because also I was not forced to go to any tuitions anymore. My mom was not there, my dad was not there, so I was very happy just doing my academics, going to school, like going to my classes, coming back home. But also, I was not very, very happy. You see, if a child has spent her 13 to 14 years being on stage, being very, very, very active on stage. Suddenly, when her life changes, when she goes to a boarding school and she does nothing, it affects her health, it affects her mind, it affects her body. So after I come back from boarding school, after the 5 minutes of initial hugging and crying, my parents were like, something is wrong with how you look now. Something is off. Suddenly, the shape of my body, the symmetry of my face, the color of my skin mattered to people. I was 15 and it hit me that physical appearances do matter. From the age of 15, my struggle with body image issues, my eating disorders began. I would hope that, every day I would wake up with a flat tummy. I would hope that my skin got better. I would hope that my hair got longer. I would hope, and nothing worked out. But one thing that people kept on telling me was, Tanvi, you do look like Sushmita Sen from some angles. Is that correct? Is that true? I really want to know. This is the validation I'm hoping I would get on TEDx. Okay, great. They told me I look like Sushmita Sen from some angles. I am a tall person, and while the entire world was raving about how fair and beautiful, my dad would tell me, Tanu, dark is beautiful. And these three statements made, they told me, listen, you can go for Miss India. You should go for Miss India. But I was also struggling with body image issues. I went to college, and every day, I would start eating lesser and lesser with every day. There was one particular day I remember, I ate only 2 dates. And I felt proud of myself. I was like, wow, I survived on only 2 dates. Today, when I speak about it, it gives me goosebumps, even if I have done body wax. It does give me goosebumps because I was affecting myself so badly. Any girl here, if she's struggling with body image issues and eating disorder, she should talk about it. Because for a year, I did not get my period. For a year, I was not talking to my friends. For a year, I was aloof. For a year, I was not happy. And that was not the kind of child I grew up to be. But the upside of losing all that weight was I could go into Miss India, I could go into beauty pageants, and my parents didn't know about all this, about everything I was going through. My dad sends me this picture that, do you want to, the newspaper advertisements that come, do you want to become the next Miss Universe? And I was like, if Sushmita Sen, if I can look like Sushmita Sen from some angles, I can at least win Miss India. Miss Universe, to theek hai, baat dekhenge. So I go to Miss India without any preparation. I didn't know what it meant. I didn't know any format. I just go there with very, very confident attitude. My mom gets me my first pair of bikini. My little brother teaches me how to do ramp walk. And my sister takes me to a body wax. I was thrilled. I was on the moon. I go there, and the judges are all sitting here, the head of Miss India organization. They were sitting like these guys are sitting, and they tell me, Tanvi, come closer. And I was like, okay, they want to see my beautiful face. I might as well go closer. What they meant was just come closer to the head ramp. I didn't know what head ramp even meant. I go off the stage, I go to them, and I asked them, yes, ma'am, you wanted to see my face? Literally this close to them. And they were shocked, they were laughing, and they were surprised at the same time. The look on their face is something I really, really remember and laugh. But that day, I did get selected at the end of the day, and it was my first lesson of beauty. Beauty means to be unapologetically yourself. Beauty means to be unapologetically confident. I didn't win the Miss India pageant when I was 19, but I did get the confidence I was hoping I could get. 5 years later, I go again, because in these 5 years, I was working as a radio jockey, I was completing my college, everything. But there was this voice in my head that said, there is something more, Tanvi, there is something more, you have to do it. I'm pretty sure dreams, like I heard this quote somewhere, if dreams let you sleep, they are not really your dreams. Dreams will never let you sleep. They will make you sit up late at night practicing. Like, I would consciously and rigorously practice this answer. What do you think is the essence of woman? If you are from beauty pageant industry, you would know that this question is always asked in every beauty pageant. So I go back again at 23, fully prepared. So I go into the audition of Miss India. The first audition, very prepared, I fail. And it's a very weird story. Whenever I have not cracked the auditions, my parents have always been there. And whenever I have cracked the audition, they were never there. So that's a very sad thing. But today, my dad is here. I'm so grateful that he's here. The second time I go to Miss India audition, so I crack the audition. So Neha Dhupia ma'am, so if you know, in beauty pageant, it's the interview round that counts the most. So Neha Dhupia ma'am is asking me, Tanvi, why do you think you should become the next Miss India? What do you have? And my head, I was like, because I am Tanvi, I'm very good, please mujhe le lo. But my mouth blurted, I'm a very nice person, I'm a very genuine-hearted person, I would never hurt a fly, I'm a very, very genuinely a nice person. And Neha Dhupia ma'am was like, okay, great, you're a nice person, great, you can't hurt a fly, but would that make you a Miss India? Do you think the other girls, the other 28 girls who've come here are not nice? And it struck me that what I should have answered was, ma'am, I am a middle child. I know how to handle conflict. I know how to be, I know how to do that. I grew up in a boarding school. That meant I knew how to stay away from my parents, compromise. I became a radio jockey at a very early age. That meant I could communicate well. And I'm also trying my hand at writing a book, which means I can think also sometimes. But I didn't say all that. And when I did say that, she said, your chance is over. And that day I realized I will not win the next day. So I lost again at Miss India. The third attempt at Miss India Earth was again few months later in 2019. I was very, very sick. So what we are doing here today, let me just clear. I am trying to unravel the meaning of beauty, what I have learned in the process, because what I have learned about beauty is very, very different what people think about beauty. So in Miss India, what I learned was beauty also means knowing your strengths and speaking about them without any hesitation. I'm so happy when I see women being very proud of who they are, from where they've come. I've heard so many speakers doing that, believing that, and it makes me feel like you should not be shrunk. Women should never be shrunk into places they never belong. We should always expand. And in that room, in that audition, in that interview room, what I was doing was, I was belittling myself. By saying I'm a nice person and not saying what my strengths were, I was shrinking into a box when I am not meant for a box. The third audition was for Miss India Earth. I was very, very sick. I was like, I'm very sick, I can't go there, but I still go into the audition. I was like, I got selected. I was surviving on 4 pills. Like every day I used to take 4 pills. And I made a barter deal with God. I was like, Bhagwan, dekho, main bahut bimar hu. I'm very, very sick. And yet I'm, waking up at 3 a.m., practicing, I'm wearing all these things. You better make me win. And I was so sure that this barter deal would work. I called my parents. They flew to Delhi and they were sitting right here in the front of the audience. And it's the finale day. And the host announced my name. Next contestant number Tanvi Malhara. Contestant number 10, Tanvi Malhara. I'm like, yes, this is my chance. I walk on stage and I don't see there are holes in the stage. And accidentally, my heel gets stuck in one of those holes. I was so sad. I get stumbled. And then my mom, she sees that. And both of us share that look. And I'm like, God, today is going to be a very I'm going to cry my eyes out tonight. So I move back and I'm crying. My mom comes backstage and she's like, koi nahi beta. पनीर खाएंगे घर जाके और next year फिर try करेंगे. I was like, great, sounds like a plan. Again, my parents never gave up on me and I'm so very happy about that. 3 months later, again, the last pageant of 2019, my mentor sends me another pageant. They were like, this is a good pageant. It's called Miss India International. You will do good here. I'm like, either you have a lot of confidence in me or you just want me to be very, very sad in 2019 because this is not working out. This plan is not working out. And they're like, no, aakhri baar, just go for it. Just try, no? I was like, okay, fine. I go into the audition and I cracked the audition. But before going to the final pageant, my family suggested that you do something different. They said, this time you have to work for your mind. This time you have to work for your mind so that the mind works for you and not against you. They send me, just before the pageant, they send me to a Vipassana center. Do you all know what Vipassana center is by show of hands? So it's thank you. It's a 10 days course in Igatpuri where you cannot talk, where you cannot talk to anyone, you can't read, you can't exercise, you just have to sit and meditate. So I'm calling the organizer, hello, my name is Tanvi Malhara, will you just take me to this course? And they were like, ma'am, aap sure hai aap aana chahte hain? I'm like, yeah. No, you know here, right? You can't talk, ma'am. I'm like, yeah, I know I can't talk. No, you are a radio jockey. You know you cannot talk to anyone. I'm like, just get me in, yeah. So 10 days straight, there were ladies above 50, above 60, and there I am, 23 years of age. I'm sitting there crying every day. And all of them are looking at me, yaar, iske life mein itna kya dukh hai? जो हमारे life में नहीं, जो इतना रो रही है पूरे दिन. And at the end of the course, when they came up to me and they were like, Tanvi, are you okay? Like, what was wrong? Because they could not ask me what was wrong in the entire course. And I was just like, मुझे बस बात करनी थी यार. I just wanted to talk. So I don't know what happened in those 10 days, but something changed in me. And I decided whatever happens in the pageant, I will either be happy for a few days or I'll be very, very sad for a few days, but I'll be okay by the 15th day. I know that for a fact. In the pageant, which happens for a week, I made sure that every day I wake up earlier than other girls. I made sure I was extra alert amongst the girls. I made sure I helped everyone because girls there needs as much validation as I needed. So I used to tell them, you're doing great. So I used to get the same response. People always ask me this question, Tanvi, you have been in beauty, like you've been into so many beauty pageant competitions. Do you think that girls are very, very mean? I say, no, you're wrong. These girls are beauty personified. They have taught me how to help each other. They have taught me how, one girl, you know, wearing a bikini is it's a very self-conscious thing for me. But one girl, she came up to me and said, Tanvi, you're rocking that bikini. And I was like, really? I never felt that confident. And these girls do that for us. Once I lost my heels, the one roommate that I had, she called every person in the hotel and asked, listen, where are Tanvi's heels? She needs it right now, okay? Like, I have never seen women standing up for each other than these beauty pageant. And one thing that I did in that beauty pageant, I think made me win. I'm a little biased towards that because I did what I do the best. I narrated a very spontaneous thing on stage, just like a radio jockey does. So if I have your permission, can I do that for you? It's not prepared, so please pardon me if I do it wrong. Okay. Is everyone with me? Cool, cool, okay. मॉडर्न पब्लिक स्कूल से मैं हूँ आरजे तन्वी और आप सुन रहे हो शो द पावर ऑफ आइडिया. आज सुबह से मैं इस स्कूल में हूँ और मैंने इतना खाया है जितना मैंने लास्ट 2019 में खाया होगा. हर 2 मिनट में कोई ना कोई मैम आती जा रही, बोली मैम यू वांट समथिंग. मिला मैम मैंने इतना कुछ ज़्यादा उखाड़ा नहीं जितना मुझे खिला रहे हो. बट एवरी डे आई स्पेंड इन दिल्ली मेड मी रियलाइज कि यहाँ का मौसम कुछ ठीक नहीं लग रहा है, लेकिन यहाँ के लोग बड़े अच्छे हैं. आज मैं सुबह से यहाँ पे आई हूँ और मैं देख रही हूँ कि एक स्पीकर लगातार कुछ कह रहा है, कुछ और कह रहा है. हिमांशु जी से मैंने सीखा कि कैसे द पावर लाइज इन यू. अमित जी से मैंने सीखा कि चेंज इज पॉसिबल इफ यू थिंक अबाउट इट. मैंने नवराज जी से सीखा कि अगर आपको पंजाबी नहीं आती है तो आप यहाँ पे नहीं बैठ सकते, और अगर आप बैठ सकते हो तो आप सिर्फ और सिर्फ तन्वी के लिए बैठ रहे हैं. आई एम सो थैंकफुल नवराज जी सिटिंग हियर. मैंने सर से सीखा कि सिर्फ और सिर्फ मोबाइल में देखना नहीं चाहिए जो वो अब कर रहे हैं, लेकिन हमारे स्पीकर को भी देखना चाहिए जो वो नहीं देख रहे हैं. और अभी भी मुझे नहीं भाव मिल रहा है, लेकिन एज अ रेडियो जॉकी मैं अपने काम पर ध्यान दूंगी और उन्हें कन्विंस करके रहूंगी कि वो इधर देखे. और इतने सारे स्पीकर्स को देखने के बाद एक झलक जब मेरी जाती है मैम के ऊपर, मुझे रियलाइज होता है कि लीडर हो तो ऐसी हो. और अगर लीडर ऐसी हो तो स्कूल आके बढ़ना ही है. अगर एक TEDx हो गया तो क्या हुआ, बार बार TEDx होते रहेंगे. इफ यू हैव अ लीडर लाइक हर एंड इफ गर्ल्स सी सच विमेन एंटरप्रेन्योर्स, विमेन बिजनेसमैन, दे विल एस्पायर टू बिकम लाइक वन. आप कहीं मत जाइए, नवराज सिंह की आवाज में, नवराज हंस की आवाज में आप एंजॉय करने वाले हो 5 गाने बैक टू बैक. डू नॉट गो एनीवेयर, स्टे ट्यून टू 104.2 माय एफएम. चलो आज कुछ अच्छा सुनते हैं, जियो दिल से. So this is very spontaneous. I wish I could have prepared it. So there's something very similar to this I had performed in my talent round. So when all the girls were dancing and singing, and I can sing and dance too, but I chose that this would be better, this would be different. I just want to end my speech, my journey, by saying one thing. How many of us, by asking one question, how many of us have been called beautiful in our life? Show of hands. I can just see girls, right? Women. I really want to say this one thing. If beauty means anything that I listed in my speech or my journey, I don't think it should be gender biased. It should be for everyone. I think everyone can be a beauty king and a beauty queen, with or without crown, with makeup, without makeup, with heels, without heels. I think all of us are beautiful. I think all of us have the capacity to win any beauty pageant you want to aspire in. And Yeah, just have fun. Thank you so much. Thank you for being such a kind audience. Thank you.